Good evening out the internet.
Good evening to y'all.
Well, it's back. Season 2 of The Mandalorian is here. First episode dropped last Friday, October 30th. And of course, we are back to do our spoiler-filled reviews and opinions of each episode as they come out. And of course, we will do a season recap at the end. It's me, Steve, Scuba, and of course, my cohort in reviewing, Mr. Ry guy.
Here for you, people. Here for you.
So, just to kind of let that out, everybody out there on the internet, this is spoiler warning. If you have not watched it, go to Disney Plus, watch episode 1 of season 2 of The Mandalorian, then come back and check out this review because we won't hold back.
No, we won't. We will talk about all the shalala walla bing bang bongs happening.
So there's your spoiler warning. And with that, 3, 2, 1, you've been warned. All right.
Let's go.
Episode 1 of season 2, Ry. What that was wicked fun.
It was a great episode. It was a great way to, reestablish who the Mandalorian is, what his mission is, and also, like I mentioned to you off air, this episode is the quintessential of how you do great story writing, great storytelling within the vast universe of Star Wars. This episode is the epitome of how you do fan service, do those winks and nods, but actually move the story and expand the lore even further.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Just to mention off the top, the title of this episode is Chapter 9, The Marshal.
I like how we didn't go in with we were picking right up where we left off on the last chapter. Right from the start, Mando, the scene of Mando walking in out of the dark into this town on some planet somewhere, like this underground fight ring type thing. You already get the sense. I mean, it's a great one. I think it's great to have that kind of ambiance.
Yes.
Considering it came out the day before Halloween, everybody's in the whole Halloween mode, and we're going to start off with that. I mean, you see the little creatures off to the side with the red eyes. I'm not sure what those are yet. I'm sure we will find out here sooner or later.
At some point.
But going into that fight area and that gangster person who, did you realize that race that character was a nod to the first Star Wars movie, episode 4?
Oh, really?
Yes, that race was actually first introduced, and you got a blink and you miss it moment in Mos Eisley in the cantina.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had the one eye or whatever. But that was that whole bit, and the guy's like, "I'll trade you your armor for the info." And he's like, "No."
We have a better idea.
Yeah, that was that whole bit, and I love the thing that's great is right like the commercial. As soon as the gauntlet lights up, Baby Yoda's like, "Yep, bye."
Yeah, I know what's about to happen, so let me go and protect myself right here.
Oh yes, totally. So.
Oh yeah, that first sequence emphasizes how deadly the Mandalorian is. If you forgot how deadly he is, just watch that first 5 minutes and you'll know. Don't mess with him.
Yeah. But then, of course, he gets pointed back to Tatooine, which, of course, we saw Tatooine in the first part. And Tatooine is like central to Star Wars lore because so many different things happen involved on Tatooine, and there was a lot of great Easter eggs. Once Mando comes back to that same port or hangar that he was at before, and you can also see the growth in Mando from the first season to this one because the mechanic droids.
Oh yeah, we know he doesn't like droids, but he's just like, yeah, let them do what they need to do.
Let them do it once over on the ship. I mean, that can tell you that IG droid really made an impression to kind of help him to, give droids a chance.
Yeah, it helps build a cohesiveness. And even though they're returning back to Tatooine, and I know there might be some people be like, can we just go somewhere different? This is what I pinpointed earlier when I said they do a good job of expanding the familiar. So they go back to Tatooine, but they don't focus on the same areas. They get you there, and then you actually go into other parts of the planet that you've never been.
Yeah, and of course you see Red 5 again.
Yeah.
Which of course was a droid from the first Star Wars movie. And you get a map of Tatooine, and you see Mos Eisley, Mos Espa. Of course, Mos Espa, if you're familiar with it, Mos Espa is where Anakin was born and where Qui-Gon and them found him. So we're seeing these connections to the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and now we're moving into the post Empire trilogy and moving in with this other border town.
Oh yeah. Mos Pelgos. I might be butchering it, but y'all get it.
Yeah, but yeah, he's going there.
Yeah.
And he goes there, and then it's like, okay, well, we're there, and we're looking for a Mandalorian on Tatooine. And it's like...
He runs into somebody wearing the armor, but it isn't...
And of course, the armor's faded and dented and beat up. And I mean, it doesn't take much to realize that pattern, and that was Boba Fett's armor. So already we can ask the questions like, we already can tell, all right, well, Boba Fett is... But at least his armor got out of the Sarlacc pit.
Oh yeah, so the person who is wearing it goes by the name of Cobb Vanth, and he is played by Timothy Oliphant. And he's basically the marshal of this town, and he's wearing the armor because the armor is what helps him protect the town from the Tusken Raiders and other threats.
Which he does, which we get a little bit of we get a backstory montage, which goes back to, again, tying in for the original trilogy, the end of Return of the Jedi, and the Death Star exploding, and then seeing the power vacuum that happened across the galaxy.
Yeah, that's a great thing that it shows exactly that, you know, it wasn't all glitz and glamour when the Empire went down. You know, there was a huge vacuum, and that backstory showcased one of those vacuums, and I appreciate that. And it actually shows that it, in the Outer Rim, it's no holds barred. So
totally. And then the fact that, you know, we get to see some of that fallout.
Oh yeah.
And then, but of course, Mando gets there, and per the creed, he has to take the armor back because it should only be with true Mandalorians.
Yeah.
But of course, and then you get this nice Western kind of standoff in the cantina until there's an earthquake, and it just that bit where the marshal's like, 1 minute, one moment,
and then the crate dragon shows up,
and it's like, why? I mean, that whole bit of it just going down Main Street, and everybody just kind of watches it pass, and then it eats a bantha, and his response is, maybe we could work something out. I mean, the timing of some of these comments and one-liners are they're what make the episode really great.
Oh yeah, it does. It levels out. The script writing is on point. They're not just cheesy one-liners or just, typical like haha, but like you mentioned, they are melding that Western trope, but melding in a way that it fits perfectly within the Star Wars universe. And when Star Wars is at its best is when it's melding certain genres, kind of like Rogue One, and telling stories outside of what we are familiar.
Yes, I mean this feels very much like a modern Western.
Oh yeah,
and it's great, and then of course it leads into trying to take out the crate dragon, and then it's like you get more interaction with Sand People, because Sand People we've only ever seen, as far as in the quote unquote canon, only seen in bits and pieces. Like we saw them attack Luke in episode 4. We saw Anakin kill a whole tribe in episode 2, off camera or so. We saw them shoot at Anakin in episode 1. I mean, bits and pieces out there. I mean, so you really don't get a whole lot for them, but and we see them interact, and Mando playing this kind of translator to bring these two warring factions together for a common goal.
And it's really hard for them to do it because there are some really strong tensions between them.
Which, I mean, that can make sense. I mean, and it does make callbacks to some of the inspiration. I mean, Jon Favreau has said from the get-go, like, this is, he wanted this to feel like a Western. in a way, and quite a number of the episodes do feel like a Western, like he's the lone, the man with no name wandering around.
Oh yeah.
So there's definitely some inspiration from some of that stuff to lead into that, but getting to actually see Sand People fleshed out in a lot more detail than we've seen before, because otherwise you have to read some of the Legends stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's a novel called Kenobi, which is supposed to which was relegated to Legends, but it talks about Kenobi's time on Tatooine when he first arrives after he drops off Luke with Owen and Beru, and how he's trying to fit into this hermit lifestyle. And a Jedi's got to do what a Jedi's got to do. But you saw a lot of Sand People, the culture of the Sand People there. But again, that's now considered Legends. It's not considered canon. And I like how we're getting with each of these shows, we're getting bits that were in the Legend stuff brought back in and made canon. Like the Krayt Dragon has been teased in several things, but here we actually get a full-on. That's the center antagonist for the episode, is this Krayt Dragon, or the central quest of this episode.
Oh yeah, and he lets the group have it, because when it gets into, once they reach a peace deal and they work together to try to take out this Krayt Dragon, it leads into a very, very amazing action set piece, and definitely a hard-nosed battle against this Krayt Dragon, and a lot of deaths. And the one thing I appreciate about this episode, it shows it doesn't dance the line of trying to be family friendly or trying to appeal to something. No, they were just like, this is a nitty gritty out in the Outer Rim, and yeah, there's going to be deaths.
Well, I mean, like you said, the Dune Sea is harsh and deadly. So yeah, the people who live there are going to be harsh and deadly. But we get to that epic moment. He kills the Krayt Dragon. And then there's the pack up and they leave, and then there's the big reveal at the end. Yeah,
and the Mandalorian, he is going off on his rider with the armor, and Baby Yoda heading off, and then there's a camera view from behind a person
with a bantha stick and a long rifle, and as the guy turns around, we see Boba Fett.
Yes, in all his glory.
Because we knew that the actor who played Jango was coming back for season 2, and we know based on the lore from the prequel trilogy, Jango Fett is Bulba's father. He's the father of all the clones. So if we see him in any newer iterations, we know right off the bat that's who it is. But the biggest thing is a great fan service is that for years fans have known from the various comics and novels that Boba Fett did survive the Sarlacc pit.
Yes, he did.
And now we have in canon proof that Boba survived, and he is still out there on Tatooine.
Oh yeah.
So now I'm curious what made him take the armor off. There's a lot of speculation that Boba isn't an actual Mandalorian, and neither was Jango. So they were just people who found the armor and put it on. So
we'll see, but it's definitely it's a great nod, and it does that nod in a wink, but it doesn't do it in a way where it felt forced. Like there's a point to end it on that cliffhanger, because it's going to lead to bigger and bigger things. Like you said, it brings up questions, but it brings up the questions from episode 1. So we got 7 more episodes to explore that.
Yes.
Explore where is the next destination for the Mandalorian, because he still is on the mission to bring Baby Yoda, the child, back to his people. So
some great cameos and nods, like the guy who played the marshal and the guy who played the bartender in the town. Both of them were on Deadwood.
Oh yes,
playing again a marshal and a bartender.
Oh yeah, Timothy Olyphant, he is kind of typecast in that role, but when you're good at it, why not?
I mean, you got it. And then of course we had another great cameo in there, and that was John Leguizamo.
Oh yeah, he was that guy, that creature.
Yeah, that cartel guy that Mando fights in the beginning. And
oh yeah,
I mean, that was pretty cool. I love how we're having a bunch of these things in there. We're gonna see a lot more stars in there.
Oh
see
yeah,
a lot more things.
There's a lot more things, a lot more rumors of what certain actors and actresses were cast in roles, but that won't be revealed until further on in the season. So we can speculate what we think based on what we've talked about on our other podcasts, but we don't know until we know.
So with that, episode 1 is in the bag.
Yes,
so
sir.
Now we can look forward to episode 2 premiering this Friday, November 6th.
And the title for episode 2, chapter 10 is The Confrontation.
Oh,
Director to be announced, but the writer is Jon Favreau.
of course. If you like this and like the other content that we put up on this channel, be sure to hit the like, the subscribe, and the bell so you're notified when other episodes, other videos are uploaded. Also, come check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Scuba Studio. There, Tuesdays, we do a podcast, Scuba and Ry. We record it live and interact with the chat. Also, Saturdays, we do a couple of D&D games. And Sunday, we do Sunday with Scoob, where sit, have coffee, hang out, and chit-chat about all things, anything that comes to mind, and as well as play some video games.
Yes, sir.
So with that, y'all have a great week, and we will see you on our next episode.
Peace.